Hey, Shalom, Yasharala, peace be unto the nation of Israel. Command of modern-day so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and speckled Israelites, being the Israelite foreigners, scattered across the four corners of the earth, including within America, Babylon the Great, the main place for captivity. And we are the Most High, Yahweh chosen people of the nation of Israel. So without further ado, as always, in the Paleo or ancient Hebrew, I'm going to give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is the God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barach, which is all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, whom is our strength and our Redeemer, and light and our salvation. I also want to say Shalom to the elect men, the elect remnant of the men of One West, whose labors we have entered into. All right, and Shalom on and salutation to Bayashah Wadad, the house of David, along with the rest of the 1/3 elect men, women, and children of Israel. This is your fellow servant Malak Rayab, back at it again. Another prophetic update regarding this last world's war and the assimilation of these troops regarding their own personal sovereign aspirations and interests that will lead them to pick a side. In this last world's war, it was prophesied, including the vibration of this recent meeting between Vladimir Putin of Russia and Bashar al-Assad of Syria in regards to Putin meeting Assad to defuse the Turkey-Syria tensions. All right, going back to the history of the Syrian civil war coup d'etat. All right, spearheaded by Esau Edom through his intelligence agencies and America and NATO in support of further bringing division. All right, and chaos to overthrow the Syrian government, just like they've attempted to do within these other various governments. So this whole meeting between Putin and Assad to defuse the Turkey-Syria tensions between Bashar al-Assad of Syria and Erdogan, Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, is a further fulfillment of Ezekiel the 30th chapter, where both Syria and Turkey, will eventually put their differences to the side and come under the aid of Russia. This is prophesied in the 7th verse of Ezekiel 30th chapter, for the purpose of, simultaneously shooting thermonuclear missile warheads on America, Babylon the Great, in the midst of this last world's war. All for the intents, the intents of the heart of Abba Yahweh, the man of war, to destroy America, Babylon the Great, the sinful kingdom. All right, so this is on APnews.com, and it says, Russia's Putin hosts serious Assad in the Kremlin as tensions rise in the Middle East. It says Russian President Vladimir Putin met President Bashar Assad of Syria in the Kremlin. Video distributed by the Kremlin press service on Thursday showed Putin told Assad he was concerned that tensions are rising in the Middle East, but neither leader provided further details on their talks. Russia has waged a military campaign in Syria since September 2015, teaming up with Iran to allow Assad's government to fight armed opposition groups and reclaim control over most of the country. So it says, while Russia now concentrates the bulk of its military resources in Ukraine, it has maintained a military foothold in Syria and keeps troops at its bases there. And so this is another reason why, Putin, when I was having these talks with Assad at this recent meeting on Wednesday concerning the tensions rising in the Middle East, including the fact that, the IDF on behalf of Amalek has been targeting these Russian military bases and the Syrian military bases in Syria to further eliminate the opposition against the Western, interests of America, Babylon the Great, and NATO on behalf of the wicked elite. All right, even though Russia is another World Economic Forum partner, or another supporter of the New World Order agenda, to a certain extent. They're further affiliates of the wicked elite through the World Economic Forum, although, they're still divided. They were still prophesied to be divided against their former European conglomerate counterpart in America, being that Russia used to be a part of the Allied powers, along with the UK and France, against fascist Germany, fascist Italy, Germany, and Japan during World War II, who compromised the leadership of America. So this is further why, this present time that Russia is preparing to destroy America, Babylon the Great, for being unruly and being dishonorable. So this is why they're, through these talks between Putin and Assad, they're looking to patch up or improve the tensions, or improve the relationship between Turkey and Syria, because Turkey has been known to oppose Syria, within Syria's supposed support of these certain terrorist groups, which is ironic for the fact that there's been certain terrorist groups such as the YPG and PKK, that certain Scandinavian allies, modern day Scandinavian allies in Finland and Sweden, whom are current NATO allies of America's NATO alliance, have supported, that Turkey has opposed. So there's a lot of war, chaos, and confusion going on over there in the Middle East, and that's why, that's the geographical location surrounding those so-called Muslim nations where this last world war is going to take place, and end up with America being destroyed. All right, and this is why, Putin met with Assad, to defuse the Turkey-Syria tensions. So I'm going to start off in Ezekiel 38:1, and it says, "And the word of the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yashai came into me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." All right, so Gog represents Russia, and Magog represents the land of Russia. Which that modern day land is whom the modern day king of the Medes, the Russians, inhabit to this day. All right, but Satan tells us. All right, Ezekiel 38:3 says, and say, "Thus said the Lord God Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring them forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." All right, a sword is a instrument of death, which these modern day swords include these ICBM thermonuclear warheads, these drones, these military helicopters and fighter jets, these submarine missiles, and so forth. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. All right, Persia, all right, it's talking about the modern day Elamites, the modern day Persians, in reference to Iran, of the nation Elam, all right, another key ally of Syria and Russia, which was mentioned in that first article I'm about to go back to in a second. Ethiopia, all right, Jahamites, Libya, Hamites, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, the north quarters, were referring to Turkey, which further lines up with the prophecies of the secular history being spoken about, and they'll spoke about in the article. It says, "And all his bands and many people with thee." All right. It says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guarded to them." All right, because these, like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, how these dragons of Arabia will band together, these so-called Muslim nations, and this is why there's some breaking news a few days ago that broke out on how the president of Egypt was saying how they should stand with the Palestinian people, which is Ishmaelites, being that independence is right of the Ishmaelites, because a lot of them, because Ishmael, has further infiltrated Egypt, all right, so this guy appears to be an Ishmaelite, but they have a lot of, so Ishmael has a lot of ties with Africa, and which is why you see this guy as a president of Egypt, because he looks like he could pass for an Ishmaelite. And this is another reason why they're banning with those so-called Palestinians, which are Ishmaelites. A lot of those people are Ishmaelites because they represent the Ishmaelites. All right? Which further lines up with 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, how the dragons of Arabia are going to band together against the modern-day Assyrian Empire, that bloody nation prophesied in Nahum, the 3rd chapter, which is, Assyria is another alias, a spiritual alias for America, Babylon the Great, as in Egypt and so forth. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab this next precept in the book of Obadiah. All right, Obadiah verse 7. All right, this is Obadiah verse 7, and it reads, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, they have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." So the same men that are laying a wound under you devils are the same men that you were once confederate with, man. Specifically referring to Russia. Once again, going back to the time of World War II, during the time of the alliance, the former alliance of the Allied powers between Russia, France, and and the Soviet Union, all right, on behalf of Russia, okay, during the time of Joseph Stalin, all right, and around the end of the Cold War, around in the early 90s, there was a mutual consensus that was formed or established between the Edomites of America and Russia, that NATO, the NATO military alliance of America, would not expand eastward closer to Russian territory. All right, because Ukraine had been, Crimea had been annexed by Russia, but now who has further inhabited Ukraine as a further proxy war against Russia, America, and NATO. So that further confirms that Esau is a truce breaker, as is prophesied in Psalm the 55th chapter. Hence, all the treaties he broke with the Native American from the tribe of Gad, the laws to the tribe of Israel. And so that's what further has revealed the wicked, deceitful, demonic nature of these self-proclaimed Caucasians or Edomites. All right, to the point to even where your former counterparts of European descent or Edomite descent are even rising up against you. All right, because you are the foulers of the earth. You are the men of sin and sons of perdition, man. Okay, all right, to the point to where you're evil to yourself, as it says in Sirach 14:5, because you're so willing to rise up against your own people and your own comrades that even share your bloodline, man, like you did with Russia. All right, that's why they're now laying a wound under you, further meeting up with their military comrades to share the mutual aspirations to destroy your ass. Okay, and this is why Russia, the president of Russia, had recently popped up over there in Cuba, only about 90 miles away from the coast of Florida, man. In China, in likewise fashion, not to through their military presence seen in Alaska, which is also American territory. Okay, not too long ago, about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. All right, so the swords are being furbished between these nations, as is prophesied in Ezekiel the 21st chapter, to destroy you Edomites in America and NATO. All right, because you were that horde that sits upon many waters in Revelation 17 chapter, looking to govern everyone's sovereignty and resources, okay, through intelligence agencies and military industrial complex and so forth. All right, that's why you use your wicked influence, as is prophesied in Isaiah 25:7, is that wicked covering cast over the entire earth to further wage geoeconomical war on these very nations, all right, through these sanctions and tariffs and so forth. This is Sirach 14, and I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, riches are not comely for a niggard, a covetous, lascivious, stingy person, which is Esau. And what should an envious man do with money? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that shall spend his goods riotously. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Why? Because your goods are going to be spoiled, man, like it's prophesied in the book of Job, the 20th chapter. And that goes into the whole intentions of, this whole, recent Congress meeting between Bibi and Congress. As you can see here, it says Netanyahu received the green light from the United Nations for war in Lebanon. All right, reported on behalf of Israeli Channel 14. It says, according to the information we received from the Israeli delegation, Netanyahu has received full legitimacy in the United States to wage war in Lebanon, which is, within the valley of Yehoshaphat in Joel the 3rd chapter, in the so-called Middle East, where this last world's war, Armageddon is prophesied to take place. So it says, it is expected that when he arrives in the country, he would go to Kuria, an area in central Tel Aviv with a military base, and from there, he would start the war in Lebanon, the media reported. And there's been a lot of activity between Lebanon through the Houthis and in America, all right, because they just recently attacked the Israelis. Just like the Yemenis army, has recently attacked the Israelis, okay, because all the puzzle pieces are in place for America and Israel to be destroyed. It says, bringing Netanyahu to the U.S. is aimed at convincing the American public that Israel should receive huge amounts of U.S. money in the same way as Ukraine. So in other words, this is, they're justifying why our tax-paying dollars should be further spent, towards, the military industrial complex, which accounts for about 52% of the federal budget. So it says that is why he called for immediate intensification of the delivery of arms and financial aid to Israel. All right. If Israel starts losing on the ground, the U.S. will get directly involved in the war, and many American soldiers will die for Israel. And this is why in this article, okay, Freddie go into this information. So on there, Zero Hedge entitled Netanyahu's meeting with the lame duck Biden was as inconsequential as anyone expected. All right. So Netanyahu's meeting with Biden to get more explosives. He accused Biden of withholding weapons in Congress. Give us the tools, we'll finish the job a lot faster. Israel dropped 70,000 tons of explosives on Gaza, more than Dresden and Hamburg combined in World War II. All right. But just within the last months, Bibi has repeatedly slammed Biden administration policy, particularly after the paused weapons shipment of heavy explosives, with the White House citing the likelihood that using them would result in mass civilian deaths among the Ishmaelites. All right. As you can see here, a Syrian girl, whom I claim to be my concubine in the kingdom of heaven, said while Netanyahu was speaking to U.S. Congress, Putin was meeting with Assad. There's a message here. Sides have been picked, you see. Like Freddie spoke about in Obadiah verse 7, how, those who were once confederate with you devils are, were prophesied to lay a wound under you. These ambushes of war through the military drills, hence the Russian presence through the military, 90 miles away from Florida, American territory. Likewise, Chinese military presence within American territory in Alaska, man. So hey, man, everything is in place for this place to be destroyed, the sinful kingdom. To promote sodomy, feminism, modern-day Queen of Heaven, Semiramis worship, which is idolatry, sexual decadence, pride, covetousness, lasciviousness, and so forth. All right, all the unclean spirits prophesied in Revelation 18th chapter is why America is geared to be destroyed by Yahweh by Shemeshai in Alahayim. All right, so it says, a lame duck president meets with a leader of America's closest Middle East ally, whom happens to be wanted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes, and the whole thing was somewhat predictably boring and lacking in much substance. Israeli Prime Minister Bibi met with Biden, all right, Jim Crow Pedo Joe, on Thursday, where the two reportedly discussed closing the remaining gaps for a Gaza ceasefire deal. All right, so that is what that is there. Yeah, so that was a point there. So going back to this article, says Putin said, I'm very interested in your opinion on how the situation in the region as a whole is developing. Putin said to Assad, unfortunately, there is a tendency towards escalation. We can see that. This also applies directly to Syria. The Kremlin said Putin and Assad's meeting took place Wednesday. All right. Putin and Assad last met on March 2023 in the Kremlin on the anniversary of Syria's 12-year uprising turned civil war, which, once again, America and NATO, and through their intelligence agencies, further led that attempted coup. All right, and this is why in Aleppo they stole about 90% of Syria's oil. So they have a deep hatred for you devils. Okay, says at that meeting, Putin emphasized the Russian military's role in stabilizing the country. All right, let me jump down. All right, so Turkey and Syria cut their ties in 2011 as mass anti-government protests and a brutal crackdown by security forces in Syria spiraled into the still ongoing civil war. Turkey backed Syrian insurgent groups seeking to overthrow Assad and still maintains forces in opposition held northwest angry in Damascus, because Turkey was just further carrying out the aspirations of the West, because Turkey is still currently a NATO ally. But it's prophesied in Ezekiel 30th chapter, they're going to turn on NATO and align with Russia. And that's why there was talks of them joining the BRICS union on behalf of Russia and China. So eventually that's going to take place, as it's prophesied in Ezekiel 38th chapter. That's why this whole meeting is very prophetic. All right. All right. So it says, jump down. This story has been corrected to note Putin and Assad's potential discussion of Syria and Turkey, now Russia and Turkey, restoring diplomatic relations. You see, once again lines up with Ezekiel 38, man. So this is Ezekiel 21 and 9. All right, Ezekiel 21 and 9. And it reads, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus said the Lord, Yahweh, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he had given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished, to give it into the hand of the slayer, the Edomites. All right, further confirms that all these Edomites, pursuant to Ezekiel 36th chapter, Revelation, the 19th chapter, around the 15th verse, all right, And similar precepts further confirms that all these nations, okay, will be subdued under Yahweh Shai, to further cut that false doctrine that the Russians are going to be temporarily ruling after the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, and NATO, which is not scriptural, man. All right, and the beloved elder apostle Ramlab was used by Yahweh Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash to further dismantle that false doctrine in his recent epistle this morning. All right. So this is Jeremiah 51:11. Jeremiah 51:11, and it reads, "Make bright the arrows, the nukes. Gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai had raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is a vengeance of the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai, the vengeance of his temple." All right, so this is why the Lord is going to use Russia and these other heathen nations through their armies, all right, to war with America, and they will all be destroyed through the armies. And the only ones who don't get destroyed are the gates of the nobles of Edom. In Psalm 149 chapter, they could be rounded up at the first fruits of slavery under Hamashiach Hawashai, all right, Malak Dawadah and Bayash Dawadah, man. So this is, I'm going to go end it off in Jeremiah 25, start at verse 28. It says, "And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup without a hand to drink, then shall thou say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, by Shem Shai of hosts, ye shall suddenly drink that cup of indignation," man, that Jake had to drink. So now it's time for you, the nations, to drink it. All right, a bitter cup of wrath, righteous wrath, okay, which will lead to your destruction. This is the last world's war. Verse 29, "For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should ye be utterly unpunished, ye shall not be unpunished. For I will call for a sword upon the inhabitants of the earth, said the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai of hosts. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, The Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout, as they that tread the grapes, against all the inhabitants of the earth." Okay, all the inhabitants of the earth, okay, including the Russians. "A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai had the controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, said the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai," or including the Russians, because they're also sun god worshippers, okay, through so-called Jesus Christ. All right. It says on verse 32, "Thus said the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai of hosts, Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. And the slain of the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai shall be at that day from one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground." Could there be so much, casualties of mass death? There's not going to be any time for no memorial. Okay, it speaks about in Revelation 11 chapter. All right, and that's why in Isaiah 66 speaks about Yahushua slaying many, man, including Russia, the Russian army. Verse 30, that was a point. So all them writers out of this epistles for the edifying, exhorting to elect. And I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is the God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, or Wadash, for bless me with this truth and the spirit through another epistle. All right, and with that, Abad Babal, Wa Mawas Lababal, Wa Shalom, Lavachayim, and on to the next one.